everyone. Thanks so much for joining. Welcome to day one of our Virtual Designer Academy. My name is Katie, and I'm on the product marketing team at Houzz Pro. So I work closely with our designers to make sure that we're getting feedback on the features that you're using and how you're using them and what else we can do to help you. And then I also partner with our product and engineering teams to make sure that we're building the right tools to support your business. We're really excited to have you with us today. So today is day one of our 3 days. So over the next 3 days, we'll really walk through all of the features within Houzz Pro, from the design and collaboration tools through project management and financials, to really help you make the most of your Houzz Pro account. So today we'll be focusing on how to turn your design direction into client approved choices. So moving from mood boards to selection boards. And you'll learn how to keep your project organized while also keeping clients really excited and confident throughout the whole project. So some of what we'll be covering today include using the new AI Clipper as a way to save your products and build your boards within seconds, transforming concepts into 3D renderings and also creating those elevation drawings, which is a feature we just launched very recently. We'll cover creating selection boards that really make it easier for you to get feedback as well as approval from your clients. And then customizing your client dashboard to, again, deliver that really seamless, elevated client experience that clients are really looking for. So with that, I'll hand it over to Kristen. She could introduce herself as well and then jump into the demos.
Amazing. All right. Well, thank you, Katie. Again, my name is Kristen. I currently manage the onboarding team here at Houzz. So depending on your package, you most likely worked with one of our amazing onboarding specialists. But I'm really excited. Again, as Katie mentioned, the main focus of this training is to make sure that we can really dig into some of those design tools and show a more immersive experience to your clients and also help really streamline your workflow. So we're going to go ahead and jump in with Clipper here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Give me one quick moment here.
While Kristen is pulling that up, I actually have a quick poll that I'll launch. We do have a few that we'll be sending out. We would just love to know which of the Houzz Pro features you would like more training on. So we're always working on updating our training and hosting webinars on different features. So any feedback you have here would be very appreciated.
Amazing. All right. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and kick off with exploring our Clipper tool. So one of the first things that we want to do when we're thinking about starting a new project is making sure that we can bring in our items to our mood boards, 3D floor plan, selection boards, and I'll show you how we can do that really quickly and easily. So at the very bottom left-hand side, you're going to see this settings gear. And we're going to go ahead and go to integrations. And you're going to see that Clipper tool option at the very top. Right. So from here, it's going to give you a prompt. If you haven't already, download the Clipper. It's going to give you a link to download it. So it says get the Clipper. If you already have it uploaded, it will give you a little error message here at the top. If not, it's going to allow you to add to Chrome. So I can give you a few moments to do that, but it should be really quickly to get this formally added. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and while you're doing that, I'm going to navigate back to our main page here. And I'm going to go into a little bit of a demo about how it works. So the main use of this is so that way we can bring in our items easily from other sites that you may use, other sites, vendors that you're working with, ultimately from any website that you're sourcing your items. And I'm going to show you the advanced Clipper that we have now using AI to be able to really just like scrub all the information really quickly and get it into the system really seamlessly. So I'm going to show an example from a couple of different websites here, just to show you different ways to add in some items. So once we have that Clipper added, it's what I would do at the top right. You can't really see it because I'm in an incognito window, but you'll be able to access your extensions either from this little puzzle piece, or it's going to show at the very top here. And it's like a black Houzz emblem. Again, I know a little hard to see here, but I'm trying to hover over it. That's gonna, from there, I'd go ahead and open that so that we can get signed in. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and just show you, and I'll show you a few items. That way you can follow along. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm heading into a site here, a popular site, which is Pottery Barn. And I'm going to navigate to an item here. So I'm just going to go to furniture. I'm going to go to sofas. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and click into really any item here. So I'm just going to go ahead and click into here. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up that Clipper extension that I now have at the top. Again, if it's your first time using it, it still may prompt you to sign into your account. Just go ahead and use the email that you used to sign into your Houzz Pro account to get started. But at the top here, you're going to see this prompt. Again, this is our new AI tool to help scrub information from the site, so that way we can easily clip these items. So I'm going to click Autofill Product Info with AI, and we're just going to give it a few moments here. Typically, the first one you do may take a little bit longer, but it's a little quicker after that. So as you can see, in seconds, I was able to take a look at this listing and be able to scrub some of those key pertinent details there. So you can see the product title, cost, description. The nice thing too is that it also scrubs all of the, and sorry, I see a comment here. I can definitely slow down. So I'll slow down a moment here. But I'll show you also, I'm going to clip a couple other items as well, just so we can all be on the same page as well. Okay, so at the top here, we just went ahead and we clipped that item. So we just chose to use AI to scrub the page for us. It added in all the details, so the product title, cost, description. It also scrubbed the page for the images that you could potentially use to be like the face of your products. So you can select up to 5, but I'm going to go ahead and just select this top one here. And then we're going to go to clip. And then it's going to add to that item here. Again, you could add up to 5, but I'm just going to choose 1 for right now. You can also fill in some other details here that will translate over to Houzz Pro. So you can add like which category you want this to apply to. You know, maybe it's going to be a kitchen, or choose from any of the ones that are populated here. Select a vendor. So if you've added vendors into the system, or you want to search for popular vendors, you can do so here as well. We can also take a look at if you already have projects created in Houzz Pro, we can add into a project or a room, and we'll kind of go into this a little bit later as well. But there's also other ways that you can pull in information into this listing. Say you want to make an edit easily. So what we can do here is we have a couple options. So at the very top, we have this pointer tool. If I select this, you'll see now as I'm going through the page, it's going to start highlighting sections. So if we go ahead and click on a highlighted section, we can now add this to any of these fields. So say I want to update the product title to be exactly how it is on this listing. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you can see I updated it on the right-hand side. And you can also do this by copying and paste, copying the text, and it's also going to bring that window up. So if I just go ahead and I hover over this, it's also going to bring up that bar to be able to update information. So again, this should be a really seamless way to make sure that we get all the information for that product into the system really quickly, really easily. Also, after you are clipping a few items, it typically goes a lot faster. So your first few items, you may have to go through and get familiarized, but after that, it is really, really quick and easy. But I'm going to go ahead. So once we reviewed all the details on here, we're going to go ahead and click Save to Houzz Pro. And I'll also show you how you can make edits to the listings after the fact. So nothing is set in stone here. Once you clip it, you can always go back and make any edits to it. So you want to keep an eye out for this great choice or this confirmation at the very top, just to make sure that it has transferred over to Houzz Pro successfully. But once you see that, you can go ahead and keep clipping. You can also go to the library automatically, but I'll show you that in just a moment here. We're going to go ahead and clip a few other images. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just X out of here. And at any time, you can keep your clipper open as you're going through different items. But you can also always close it out and then reopen it once you're on the listing that you want. So it just depends on what's going to be easier for you and during this process. We're going to navigate to just another site here. This is just lamps.com, and we're going to go ahead and grab another item here. Okay, I'm just going to go to this one here on the right-hand side. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and do the same thing, autofill product info with AI. Okay, so it scrubbed like all the areas that it felt like were valid for what was here. But again, I'm going to go through and just show you how we can use some of those other tools to bring in more info over. So I'm going to go ahead and select the image, the primary images I want to use, which is going to be this one here, because it really focuses in on the detail of that lighting piece. I'll go to clip. And I'm going to go ahead. And so this listing doesn't have a formal client description, which is why it didn't carry over. But we could easily just go ahead and copy this. And then we're just going to go ahead and click client description. And then it's going to add all that text over for you. And again, from here, we can add any additional details, category, select a vendor, which project we want to associate it to, and any additional details as well. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and click Save to Houzz Pro. And there's that great choice.
Kristen, just one question. Do you recommend selecting a specific project and room when you're adding a product here?
Yeah, if you, what I would say is it depends on like your workflow. So if you like are sourcing for a particular project, I definitely recommend just like adding it to that project. I'll show you in a moment how that's going to kind of play into how you access the items afterwards. But I would say like if in general you're just sourcing commonly used items that you use and you just want to start to build out your library, then you can always do that later. But again, if you're working on a specific project, you can definitely utilize that project section to be able to get them and access them quicker once we're working in that project specifically.
Great.
Okay. All right, and let's go ahead and do one more item. Again, I just want to make sure everyone feels really comfortable with this since it's such a key tool. So I'm going to go to coffee tables here. And we'll select another, not random. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go here. And we're going to open up that clipper tool. And we're going to autofill the information. All right, then we're going to go ahead and select that image that we want to use and clip. Okay, and then from here we can review, and to Katie's point, again, this is where that project section is. So when I click here, it's going to open up all the projects that I have running in Houzz Pro, and I can go ahead and choose. Which project that I want that to be added to automatically. Again, I'll show you in one of our next tools how it's gonna it'll help save you potentially some time there. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and save to Houzz Pro. All right. So now that we clipped a few items, I'm going to go ahead and head into one of my projects so we can go into creating a mood board. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go navigate back to Houzz Pro, that tab. I'm going to go to projects here on the left-hand side, and I'm going to select on my first project here, which is Monica's home remodel. All right, so this is my project landing page, and we're going to dive right into mood boards, which is on the left-hand side under planning. All right, and I have one created, but I'm of course going to show you how to create one from scratch as well. I'm going to click into one I have created here, which is kitchen mood board. All right, and again, the mood board is really supposed to be like a tool to be able to really start to help that client envision the space, get an idea, and try to immerse them a little more, and just kind of setting that tone for the project in that space. So I have one created here. I'm going to go ahead and head over to show you how to create a new page. So within this mood board, say you have you want this to just in general to be like the remodel mood board. You can also have other pages within the mood board as well to be able to separate your spaces. So this one is focused on the kitchen. We can also create new pages for like living room, bathroom, to keep things really organized. So I'm going to click on add new page. And we're going to go ahead and we're just going to title this. We could do bathroom. We could also do living room. So whatever you want to title it for your reference. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and just show you the first how to bring in items. And we're going to kind of stay on that same trail from where we clip those items. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the right-hand side and go to my items. Okay. And then, so at the very top, it's going to show you all the items that are currently in this project that we've used. So I just showed you that kitchen mood board we're working in. So that's one way. Also, going back to when we were clipping those items, when we notated that we wanted them to be like in this project, it's going to help us access those items a little easier. But if I go ahead and just toggle down here and go to in my library, it's going to now show me all the recent items that I've clipped, so that way I can pull them in really seamlessly. So these are the few that we went through, which is this couch, this chandelier, and this coffee table. So we could easily just now click on the item and add it to our space. Okay. A couple other ways that we can add in items as well is if you, in the US, we have access to a Home Depot catalog as well. So if I click here, this is going to pull up the full catalog for Home Depot. And if you also have a Pro Extra account, you can log in here to be able to see like your own custom pricing. But say I'm going to type in, I'm going to go ahead and just type in rug here or vanity. That's always a really popular item. And I'm going to go ahead and just click on that first one here and add to mood boards. Okay, so I'm going to add this item in. Also, other ways that we can source items is from our marketplace. So with professionals that work with us, we're able to pull in real life items as well to be able to use as reference. This is also a really great space to go to if, say, for instance, you just want to give like a general concept. Maybe you don't want to give like specific items in the mood board, or doing one really quickly. You can just source some items, some real life items, to be able just to make sure that we're getting the vision across. So if I go here again to furniture, we can go ahead and take a look through the catalog, or we can type in something specific that we also want to take a look at. So at the top here, I'm going to go ahead and just click on this first item here, which is another vanity that we have. And again, easily pulling those items in. Okay. Also, you can bring in your own images. So if you have some on your own, or maybe like a logo that you want to add to be able to add that personal touch to your space, you can go ahead and do that. Another really great feature that we have is being able to add in paint swatches. Again, really trying to make sure we're honing in on that immersive experience for your clients. And the neat thing is that we do partner with Sherwin-Williams and Benjamin Moore to make sure that we're making it as realistic as possible for your client. So if we go ahead and I scroll down here, I'm going to go ahead and just click on a few options. And now we can go ahead and take a look at those side by side. Okay, and now they'll be able to reference it like when you're looking at the space and say, okay, great, this is cotton, this is pure white. And it also helps like drive that conversation of like, okay, which one do we want to use and things like that. So always great to be able to add that realistic touch. Okay, and then we're going to go through 3D floor plans after, but this is also like an area where we can kind of bring in the overall like space to show them this is the layout once we have that created. And then this is how like I envision it coming to life. So we can maybe add it to like the top right as like a reference point and build upon it from there. So those are the primary ways that we can bring in items. Again, mainly wanted to show how quickly it is to go from clipping an item to going into your mood board and accessing those items really seamlessly. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and touch on making some edits here. So I'm gonna navigate back to this first one that's a little cleaner here to be able to show that. So at the very top left-hand side, we're going to see a text box option. Okay, from here, we're going to go ahead and click on where we want to add that text and go ahead and type that in. So again, we'll just type in test, text. And then from here, we can go ahead and make edits. So say we want to change the font, we can search through fonts. We can change the sizing of it and making some other edits as well. So we can add our text just as we did here on the right-hand side where we typed in demo residence kitchen. So that's a prime example of how to utilize that. There's two options, which is the select and the pan option. It really just depends like how like robust or built out your mood board is. So in the current section, it defaults to select, so we can select the items. But in pan, that's just going to be used for like going up and down or side to side if it's a lot longer. So you can see I'm kind of grabbing a space where it's pretty focused right now. But if say we didn't want to select and we just wanted to move around the space, we could do that as well. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go through a couple like zoom options. So say you wanted to really zoom into a space, maybe we're really building a large one out, we want to get really into the details of it, we can always zoom in. And then we can either zoom out or we can zoom to center, which is going to bring you back to that centralized view. Okay. And then we can also draw. So if you want to, draw an item or, a specific line, you can do that as well. Okay, you can also add in shape. So this is maybe if you want to draw attention to a certain detail, we can do that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and select the shape here. I'm going to use an arrow. And we're now going to go ahead and draw. So say we wanted to like point out this knob here, and we could even like use the text to be able to call something out on it as well. So really good just to help like make those identifiers. We can also use the ruler option here if we wanted to show certain measurements for a space. So again, I'm on the measurement tool. So now I'm just kind of dragging back and forth here. So this would be really great if we want to bring like insight to like furniture pieces that you have, like a sofa or a cabinet. Really helpful to be able to show the dimensions there. Okay, you can choose the measurement type, click done, and have that added here. You can also adjust the color, and you can also adjust the style as well. Okay, and then to delete anything on here, you could just go ahead and highlight that area and click backspace to remove it. Or there's going to be like a little delete option that you'll see here, this little trash can delete option that you can use as well. Okay, you can also adjust the background color. So you can choose from custom colors, or another nice feature going back to those integrations is that you can, if you want to show like the general like paint color that you're going to use for that room, you can go ahead and go to either like Sherwin-Williams or Benjamin Moore, select that color, and it's going to transform the whole background. So again, if you want to add that extra touch with like bringing them like into that room itself, we can go ahead and do that. Okay. Okay, going into a couple other edits that I want to show. I'm going to go ahead and go into a new page here to run through a couple things. So I'm going to go into this item that I had that I brought in here, this vanity. I'm going to go to more on the bottom, and I'm going to go to edit background. So one option that we have is being able to say, for instance, like you just wanted to have like this like vanity and not have some of the background. You can use, we have an AI option, and that will help with scrubbing it. And then you can always fine tune from here. So you can see it shows in checker, like what was removed. You can also like erase and restore. So like if I wanted to like restore, that plant or something here specific, you can do that as well. I'm going to go ahead and go back here. I'm going to click apply. Perfect. And so now we have a clean vanity that we can use and manipulate in our own ways. And again, it's great if we didn't want to have that background. So I could do the same thing here, going to more, edit background. And we're going to go ahead and remove that backdrop. And again, you can make edits as you want to. You can also restore the background, and it's going to bring it back to its original image. Okay. Also going back to that more option, a couple things we could do is duplicate the item. So if we wanted to have more than one, we can also flip it. So just the way that you're viewing it. And then we can also crop the image. I want to show you a SKU option. We have two. Usually the best way to show this is with a rug. So let me go ahead and just pull in a rug here to show you. And this is just a great way to be able to show like point of view, or if you want to, show maybe something like going down like a hallway, it's a great tool to be able to use. So let me go ahead and just let this load here. I'm going to go to click on it, go to more, and I'm going to go to SKU. And now I'm going to go ahead and use these points up top here to now like skew that viewpoint for that particular item. So if I go out, again, really kind of just showing like a different like point of view or going down a hallway. So again, just depending on like how you want that to be viewed. And then let that load here. Another thing that we can do is, as you can see here, one thing that we can do is go through layering. So if I go and I click on the more option here, and I'm going to go to order, I'm going to click bring to front, and we can go ahead and show what that looks like if it's on top of each other. So this is really great when it comes to layering, and you can see that kind of used on this first mood board as well. How we had like some tile over the other. We have the this lighting piece over the material. So again, just another way to be able to really customize that viewpoint and that layout. All right. Okay, I think those are some of the main things, but again, a true way just to be able to make sure that we can make this really customizable, especially and immersive for the client, and being able to keep things really organized. So again, having those different pages at the bottom is really going to help. On the top, a couple other things that we can do is we can create a new mood board up top. We can duplicate this mood board. So say, for instance, like we wanted to maybe make a few changes, so we can duplicate it and make couple edits on the other one. We can delete it. We can also save it as a template, which is awesome. So that way you can, if you have like similar style that you use for your projects, you can also bring this in and just make edits from it from a new project. You can also print and download the mood board if you wanted to, print it and be able to take it to a client in person. And then we can also share directly. So this is really great. What I'll show you at the end is our client dashboard, and this is a way for your client to be able to really keep track of all these things that you've shared with them in one space. So you just want to confirm the email of your client. You can customize the message, and you can also send it as a link versus an email. Okay, amazing. What I want to go, so I do want to head into 3D floor plans, but one thing that I wanted to also show you is just where to access your library in general. So if we head here on the left-hand side to company, we're going to go ahead and head over to a library here, and we're going to go to my items. And so this is a space that you can take a look at all of those items that you've imported, uploaded. You can also manually create items as well. So say you just want to add in your own items with your own images versus, clipping or importing, you can do that from here as well. But you can see that at the very top, it shows the most recently clipped items. You can make quick edits from here, but also on the right-hand side, you can also choose to edit as well. And this is where we can go through, and how I mentioned that like nothing's set in stone. Once you clip an item, you can always go back and make those adjustments from here. And you can also add and continue to add more images. Okay. You can also have different views. So if you did select like a certain category when you're clipping an item, you can filter just through those category of items. You can organize by category or like subs or vendors. So say, for instance, you just want to take a look at all of your items from Home Depot or from Pottery Barn. You can view them that way. Any item that like you have is going to show as like active unless you archive it, or I can show you how to do that right now, and you can view those archived items. So if you hover over on the left-hand side, this is going to give you an option at the top right to archive that item. But again, you'll still have access to it if you choose to go to your archived items. And then being able to show properties such as favorites and placeholders. So once you're clipping your items, if there's ones that you use like most often, you can easily favorite them from this main page here.
Great. We do have a few questions.
Okay.
A question from Becky. If you edit an item, is it better to do it at this library level or on the project level? Like, will it carry over if you edit it in one place?
Yeah, it will carry over. So that's a great thing. But I always recommend if you have to do multiple items, I always say like going to this like my items page is always really great because you can do either everything just from this like landing page really quickly here, or just all at once versus having to do it within the project. So completely up to you, but I always say this is a really clean way to be able to look at all of your items, but it does carry over wherever you make the edits.
Awesome. And then do you mind just touching on creating templates for mood boards?
Yeah, of course. So if I go back into my mood board. Okay.
Yeah, this is a question we've gotten a few times. So we do have templates, which are really great just to help you avoid duplicating efforts and creating the same mood board multiple times.
Yeah. So again, as I mentioned up top here, there's this action area. And along with being able to duplicate or delete it, you can save any of our mood boards as a template here. And you can go ahead and title it. So kitchen mood board or just whatever specific to you, and go ahead and then create the templates from there. And I can go ahead and do that here. So save as template. I'll click create template here. And now I'll be able to have it saved and use as future reference. Okay. Any other questions on mood boards that have come in?
Let's see. Yeah, Anne had a good question around the best process to use when creating mood boards. Like these here, for instance, are specific to a kitchen or to a room. Is that typically what you see versus, more general project level mood boards?
Yeah. Again, I know to be specific to your current workflow, but I always think it's really a great client experience to be able to break it down by pages. One, it's just going to be able to keep things like really focused. So by having like one for kitchen, and I know this new one that I created was a little all over the place, but being able to have one for kitchen, one for living room, one for bathroom, I think will really help the client to be able to get like a quick view into each space versus like maybe one larger mood board going through everything. But it may just depend if this is another way that you can use this too is if you're going through like different ideas or you're going into like planning. So say you're just working on a living room remodel, but you want to really bring in like two different concepts. So this is what's going to really help the client too. And that's another way you can use a space or use these pages. You can have one kitchen that's more like bright. You can see there's really neutral tones, and you can create another mood board that's going to be maybe a little more like mid-century or like darker color tones. And then you can share both with your client and be able to say like, hey, like which inspiration do you like the best? I want to make sure we're on the same page and give that opportunity to see both. So aside from just like using the pages for different rooms, you can also just use it for like different inspirations for the same room.
Awesome. And then do you mind just showing where you can access that template that you just created?
Yeah. So a couple places here. I'm going to go, well, let me actually show you from scratch here. So on the left-hand side under company, under library, there's this template section here. And then on the left-hand side, we're going to see mood boards. And I'm going to go and click into this template, and we're just going to click edit template. Okay, and we can add it from, we can choose to use this template up top here once we have that. And it's going to have us choose which project we want to add that to. So we can go from existing project, or we can go and add it to a new project from here directly. Then if I go into that project level, and then we're going to go back to mood boards. Okay, we're just going to let that mood board load here. So now at the very top, so beforehand, it just said create from scratch. And now you're going to be able to see that kitchen mood board template to use when you're in this one or in any project now. So as you build out your templates, again, you can go to that main template section, or within like the mood board area, it's now going to give you that option to use that kitchen mood board or any other templates that you've created.
Awesome.
Okay.
I think in the interest of time, we can move on. And then if we have some time at the end, we can come back to some of these questions, but I can answer them in the chat as well.
Perfect. Sounds good. So we're going to go ahead and now kind of create like this like three-dimensional experience for the client. And we're going to head into 3D floor plans. Okay, so there's a few different ways that we can create a 3D floor plan. We can create one from scratch. We also can do, so if you have an iPhone 15 Pro Plus or above, we do have LiDAR room scanning, which I can show you a quick video on. I know I don't have like a mobile app, but we can also use our mobile app to help scan a space. We can upload a 2D plan that you may have and be able to trace the layout there to be able to build out a floor plan here. And we also have templates that we have already pre-created. I'm going to go ahead and start off by going into one of these templates to show you the space, and I'll show you how to make some more manual edits or to work on this from scratch. But we're going to go ahead and go to, I'm just going to start off here. We'll go to living room templates. Okay, so you're going to see here we have a few. It's going to give you a general overview at the very top here. I'm going to go ahead and just click Use Template. Okay, and then I want to start off with a template so I can show you a few different views and show you kind of more so like an endpoint before we jump into that starting point to show how to create one from scratch. So at the top, you're going to notice we have 3 different views. It's always going to start off in our floor plan style view, and this is going to give you that bird's eye view, looking more like a true blueprint. And this is a great way to make sure that we have all of our walls created. We have all the structural components in place. This next view is the dollhouse view, and this is going to now bring ultimately that layout to life. So it's going to be able to help put that client into that space. Again, that same keyword I keep using is like creating a more immersive experience. And then we also have the last option here, which is the walkthrough view. So this is now putting the client in that space as if like they were truly there, and giving just a more in-depth look. When you're in the creation phase, you're going to be primarily working off of like going back and forth from the floor plan to the dollhouse. And then once you kind of have those more finite details created, then that's when we'll most likely go to like that walkthrough phase to really kind of edit things as needed. So from the floor plan view, again, as I mentioned, this is where we're going to add the structural components. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go back and forth. I'm going to create one from scratch, and then I'll kind of hover over, but I want to be able to show you how to actually create one. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back here to our 3D floor plan landing page. And then we're going to go ahead and click Create from Scratch. Okay, it's always going to start with a blank space or a room, but you can always build from here. So you can drag and drop to specific measurements, like using the pre-layout that we have here. But you can also build rooms upon this as well. So if I go to Draw Wall, we're going to click this first option. We also have an option to create like an outdoor space. So we'd want to make sure we click add that specifically if we do want it to be outdoors. I'm going to just click Draw Wall here at the top. I'm going to select my starting point, and I'm going to go ahead and just keep like moving my mouse over. I'm going to go ahead and click. We're going to go down, and we're going to go and reconnect it to that wall here. You'll know that everything's connected properly and once it has this gray background. If not, it'll have like lines just showing you that the space may not be fully closed. All right. A couple other things that we can do in this space is adding those structures. So once we kind of have the drawings created, we're going to go ahead and select our ceiling. So choosing, it's going to highlight a room, and you're going to be able to choose like if we want to be flat, more like a shed style or cathedral. I'm going to go ahead and just keep it as a flat view here. If you mainly want to focus on the interior of the space and not so much on the structure, we can just leave the ceiling off. That way we're not seeing that top component. So just up to you on how we want to view that. The next important thing to add in are going to be like the doors and windows. Those are really key structures that we start off with. So if I hover over doors, it's going to give me a few options for doors, and I'm going to go ahead and click, and I'm going to drag and drop like where I want that door to be. And we have a nice like snapping feature here, which is going to help just make sure it's like clicked exactly on like on the wall where we need it to. I'm going to go ahead and drop that here. I'm going to go in a moment in the to go through like more of the finishes, or right now I just want to add those structural components. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. I'll add in just a couple of one more door here just to show. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and go down to windows. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just add a few windows here. And again, I'm just going and snapping. Another thing we can do too is like quickly duplicate items. So say we wanted to bring in another window really quickly without having to go back to the side panel, we could do that. Again, this is this left-hand emblem here, and just drag it where we need it to go. All right. And as you see when I'm clicking on the items, you can always choose like the distance from floor. This will be like an important one for windows specifically, if say you want to make sure you have it positioned correctly in the right space. You can also adjust things like the dimensions, the width, and the height. Okay, so we have our doors and windows. Other things that we can add are staircases, wall partitions, indoor fireplaces, wall openings, columns, railings, and beams. So like if I add I can do a wall opening right in between these, right in between this space here. Okay, and then now, if I go to the dollhouse view, we can now kind of look back and forth. So this is how I mentioned that you're going to spend a lot of time in like floor plan and dollhouse with being able to add the structures and seeing like how that looks and being able to make edits from there. You can also like from the dollhouse view, adjust the positioning as well. Again, it just depends on like which view. This view is going to be more so structured on like the actual measurement portion of it versus the positioning. So that's the key difference where we're navigating through some items there. Okay, once we're in the space, so I'm on structures up top. This is where I was adding these key structures. We can also add in more generalized products. So if I go to anywhere here, so say I wanted to add in a sofa, we're going to go ahead and see the listings that we have here to be able to add it to one of the spaces. Okay, change that positioning. We can continue to build out items through here. We also have that same sourcing option that we just viewed in the mood board, and this again comes directly from our marketplace. So again, if you wanted to add something more like a more like real life item, we can definitely do that from here as well. And I can also type in sofa here. All right, we're going to let that load, and then we're just going to go ahead and add an item here. So again, just depends on which item you'd like to use. But if we look at the parallel, again, one's going to be more generalized. We can, of course, change the materials, and this one's going to be more true to that actual item here. Okay, we can also upload drawings. So we do have actually like a 2D to 3D tool here. So this is what's going to be really helpful if you wanted to then going back again to the clipper where we started. If we have like some like more, if we have true furniture pieces like sofas, tables, some of those more grounded materials we can convert over. Okay, and yes, exactly. So if I go, we can upload like some of those items that we've had. What we'd want to do is be able to just upload them here to look at the dimensions and go back and forth. So really easy though. And then we also have, which I do want to go through the camera elevations. I'm going to actually go back to my the more built out template to be able to show you some of these more fine-tuned adjustments here. So let me go ahead and go back. We're going to go to 3D floor plans. Okay, And we're going to go ahead and just head into actually any one of these templates here. Okay, so one thing what I wanted to bring here is to really just kind of go through, again, back to like the detail portion of this. So I'm going to go to Dollhouse and want to show you how you can add more details and bring more life into your space. So some main things are going to be flooring. So if I click on the floor here, it's going to allow me to search through our materials list. And there's so many, we've actually recently revamped the materials that we can use to make it just more personalized. So if we go here, we can see there's different flooring options. We can also use like any other materials that we've had in this space, so quite a bit, but we'll focus on flooring. And you can choose from different carpeting, concrete, epoxy, laminate, hardwood, or tile options. And just simply select the material that you want to use, and then it will update it in that space. Also, we can go ahead and add in adjustments to like the paint on the walls. So still using that integration that we have, we can go ahead and change those materials. So choosing from that Benjamin Moore, Sherwin-Williams, in the mood board, we're discussing going through those paint swatches. So now we can actually bring it to life in this space. So going and just clicking, and it's going to adjust the color on the wall. And then other things that we can do are making like edits and things like hardware. So if I go to one of these cabinets here, you can see it's going to let me choose from different dimensions. I can adjust the configuration, so 3-drawer versus 2-drawer. Some of these options may depend on the product that you're selecting. Distance from floor, if you want it to be more like a floating cabinet style. We can choose, so like the door style, we can choose from like slab, arched, shaker, so different, all those like really, again, details that we want to make sure that we have perfected. We can also choose the material. So if I wanted to move this to a different material, we could do that easily. And then the counter style. So if we want to change like the design from like bevel to eased or any other option that we have, or no edge, we can do that here as well. The material, the overhang. So as you can see, a lot of these products are going to allow you to be like really, to try to really customize this. So that way it's giving that client like a really realistic point of view for your items. Okay. Let's see here. Going through, one thing I do want to show too, which is really neat, is our camera option. So if I go to cameras here on the right-hand side, this is how we integrate our photorealistic image piece to this space. So what this can do, it's going to show like a more realistic view of this space to the client. So I'm going to go ahead and generate one. Then it takes a few minutes to upload, and I'll kind of show you the parallel of what that looks like. But I'll go ahead and let that run in the background for right now. So I'm going to click generate photorealistic image, verifying the space. I'm going to click generate. Okay, so as it says, it's going to take a few minutes. This automatically goes into like the files in your project to access. But I'm going to go ahead and just click OK. And I'm going to let that run in the back end. Once it's ready, it's going to give me a notification here on the bottom left-hand side. Okay. Let's see. Other things that we can access here, again, are the My Products piece. So that's going back to that conversion tool that I was talking about. So as you can see here, it pulls in those items from the clipper that we've clipped. The one thing right now is that this is primarily for like structured pieces. So like sofas, chairs, tables in this first iteration, like working to be able to expand this to more other materials or like more like lighting fixtures. But for right now, it's some of those more like solid materials, such again, like a sofa. So if I click here and click convert to 3D, it's going to have you do a couple of things here. So it's going to make sure that it's a more clean item with like a clear background. And trying to avoid images that have like so much background noise. If we click continue, we're going to go ahead and just add product, just confirming that we're going to add the product, clicking next. And then we're going to go ahead and keep clicking on the item here. And we're going to keep clicking until it's like pretty filled in So it's going to kind of give you some recommended points to add. And then we're going to try to get it. So you're going to click until you can get it like as close as we can when we're mapping it. And then we're going to go ahead and click generate product. And again, this may take a little bit of time as well. So again, it will notify you, but I'm going to go ahead and close this out for now. So again, going back again to the beginning, clipping an item, bringing them in. Right now, as I mentioned, it is going to be on more concrete items such as sofas, chairs, coffee tables again, but I'm hoping to expand this and always taking all the feedback we can to make this as robust as possible. Okay, so again, we'll receive a notification on that once it's formally added. I do want to go through and touch on a new feature that we have, which is elevations. So I'm going to go ahead and click on elevations here on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, sorry. And we're going to go ahead and select the wall where we want to create that elevation. And then it's going to have us choose the side. So this arrow would show like the exterior wall. I'm going to go ahead and click on this interior wall and click create elevation. It's this two like turquoise arrows that you see here, which is what I'm hovering over. So we're going to click on create elevation, and it's now going to bring you to like as if you're like facing that wall head on. And this is going to allow you to, again, create those like elevation images like for your clients and be able to really be able to highlight certain measurements in the floor plan. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust my view first. So on the top right-hand side, I'm going to go ahead and adjust the height and the width. That way I can really get zoomed in here. And I'm going to kind of bring this in to where I'd want to show the height. And we're going to go ahead and move this over. So as you can see here, now it's bringing you a little bit closer to the space as we make these edits. Okay. We can also change the depth on it too. This is just going to be able to show like the viewpoint, like what images like we're seeing or how close we are. What I recommend is making sure that we're using these plus and minus items here. That way, like we're getting really, really detailed, because as you see, as we get closer, it's going to start adjusting the items that are here as we are getting closer to the space. If we go too far to the right or left, it may then start to white out because we're a little too far, a little too close. So as you can see here, this is more to the viewpoint. So I'm going greater in the space, and now we can see like that fridge. As I get closer, we're now honing into some of the main details. So you can definitely change that there. And then the best way to use this, and the most common, is to really highlight measurements on a space. So this is going to be really important for like a kitchen where we want to highlight, measurements for cabinets, or for in like a bathroom, we really want to highlight the certain measurements of a vanity. We can definitely do that as well. So I'm just going to keep adjusting to really focus on this area right here, this kitchen space. Okay, we're going to go to measurements, and we're going to go ahead and just drag and drop. So we're going to go ahead and just move from cabinet point to cabinet point and go ahead and drop it there. Again, we're going to keep going to measurements. We're going to go ahead and create a measurement for this space. And then we can go ahead and do so again for maybe one of these windows here. So as you can see, this is going to be really helpful if we really want to make sure we're getting into the details of being able to show the measurement for those spaces. Again, it'll be really important in the project phase to make sure that we understand the measurements and how that's going to fit in, and how each piece will fit into that space. Okay, so a couple things while we're going through this. I'm going to go ahead and finish up here, but it looks like at the bottom left, you can see that a couple of those items are ready for review. But I do, on the elevation piece, want to go through also just being able to take screenshots of certain views. So if I go to like screenshot view, screenshot current view, it's now creating screenshot at the bottom, and then it's going to save into your files here. So again, now we have lots of things going on here, but I'll be able to show you that here in just a moment. Okay, we're going to go ahead and go into that 3D product and go ahead and click into review at the bottom. So that way it can bring us there. I'm going to exit from elevations. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and set product orientation. So again, this is the front. So this looks correct. We're confirming this is the front of that item. We're going to go ahead and go to next. And then what we're gonna want to do here is we're gonna want to just make sure that we have the right dimensions for that space that we have. So if we have the dimensions, like when we're clipping it, it will help translate over. If not, we'd want to make sure that we are going into that item and looking at the item itself. So I'm just going to go ahead and make like a general guess here to the spacing. But again, we would ideally want to match this to that actual clipped item. Okay, and you can also see like the view product link here. So say if I wanted to go and like reference the item here to make sure it's exact, you can do that as well. So if I go down here, again, for timing, I think I will add in some general items. I know it gives some of the spacing here. So we're just gonna go to, okay. Okay, and again, just getting like a general look here. I know they're gonna add furniture, and then we're gonna go ahead and save the product. Okay, so now if I go ahead and I click on the item, it's now gonna have like a plus sign. Again, my dimensions are definitely off, but the item is definitely there. So as I mentioned, if you have the dimensions at the point of clipping, it'll be able to add there. And then if not, we just want to go into the item and then add in the dimensions to scale. I just put in some random dimensions, but the item is there. It's just a little larger because I put in some larger dimensions, but we can definitely pull in those items to the space. But I wanted to kind of give an overview of how to do that. And then we're going to go ahead and navigate from here. So we're going to go ahead and want to show you a couple other things. So I know we just talked about elevations. I know we're jumping here, but I want to show you where some of those images went. So if I go into my project and I go to files and photos, okay, we're going to be able to see a couple of items that we added. So I'm going to go and click into floor plan images, and now we can see a couple of like elevations that have been created. And I'll show you like an example of like another one that I've done. So when you typically save an elevation, it will go into your listing or your files and photos for that particular project. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go back into the kitchen that we were just in. Okay, it looks like we're still just waiting on that that photorealistic image, which I will make sure to show you once it pops up here. But I'm going to go through a couple other edits and things that we can do here. Okay, so on going back to walkthrough now. So once you go through and you're adding your items, you make adjustments to your paint, and again, starting to build this out a little bit more. Now you're going to be able to see a more like immersive experience in that walkthrough view. So again, being able to see, all those details a lot closer. This will probably help you too. So like towards like the end stage, you'll be working a lot from like the dollhouse and the walkthrough view to make sure that we're really taking a look at those finite details there. So as you can see here, I can now see my cabinets. I can take a look at my space, this little nook that I have here. And we can toggle back and forth. So say, for instance, like I wanted to change the flooring again. So I'm going to go here to flooring. And maybe I want to see what it looks like with like a completely different finish. And now going to walkthrough. And we'll be able to, again, just see like the difference like in that space. And we can also move to different areas of the space as well. So this will be really helpful when we have like larger floor plans to be able to see things from like a different perspective. Okay, other things that we can do as well are adjusting levels. So say we have a floor plan and we have like a multi-level story, we can also have different floors. So if we click add floor, we're going to choose like the floor name, and then we can also copy this over too. So if I just say, I'm just going to say second level and click add. And now we'll be able to to go back and forth. So it's going to keep like the same layout since we're assuming that it's going to be like up top of that where it currently is, but we can always make adjustments from there. But it's going to copy over like the basics of like the outline of like the walls and structures as we create new spaces. Okay. Any main questions here?
Yes, a few questions. For elevations, is there a way to convert the default measurement into just inches?
So let me go to elevations here. And let me go to, okay. So asking on the, like when we're doing the measurements?
Yes.
Is that correct? Yeah. Okay, let's take a look here. Let me just go a little bit closer. I'm going to go to measurements. Okay, yeah. So right now, I know it does default to feet inches, but we can change it like certain like measurement names here. So if I go, yeah, it would mainly just be able to like adjust like the measurement, but it looks like it does default right now to feet and inches for now. But that's good feedback.
Yeah, great. Thank you for that feedback. And then just one other question. I know, again, we're covering a lot, but can you show how you can show multiple flooring types within one room?
Yeah. Let me go ahead and exit out of the elevations here. So I'm going to go ahead and go into this space, and then I'm going to go up top here, and I'm going to go to draw room split. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and select the room that I want to split. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and draw it. So say, for instance, I'm going to go ahead and move this over to the top here. And now we have a split room. So that way we can change the materials. So I can click here and now I can change this to like a different flooring type. And so now we have two different materials in one room. So again, it's just up top, draw a wall, and then going to draw room split, selecting the area, and then making that divide there. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and perfect timing. I know we're finishing up with floor plans, but it looks like that image has been generated. So we're going to go ahead and click view on the bottom left-hand side. Okay. And then wonderful. So now we're going to see a more realistic image that really brings in like more like lighting components and really plays on like the tones of that space. So as we can see, although in like the walkthrough view, like it is, bringing that space to life, this is kind of going like above and beyond of like really making sure that like this client feels like they're in this space. This is like what it could potentially really look like. But I know this is always a really exciting feature for clients to be able to see, especially in that planning phase. Okay. As I mentioned, it's going to bring you here to the file section. Anytime you make a photorealistic image or like add a file, it's all going to default into this files and photos section. Okay, lastly, on the floor plan, just want to show one piece of like how our visual tools can be connected to documents that you may create. So say typically in your workflow that from the 3D floor plan, this is where you would start to draft an estimate. We also have like a new AI tool, which is to convert over to an estimate automatically. So if I click convert to estimate, it's going to show creating document. And I'll show you different ways we can do this. With that selection, it's going to go straight to going into an estimate, but I'll show you where we can also kind of tailor some of those options. Okay, so I'm just going to give it a few moments. Because it's using AI, again, it's just making sure that it's really going through the pieces and the items on this floor plan to create that for you. But again, there's different ways we can do this, and I'll make sure to be able to show you both how to choose what you want to go to the estimate first before going over to document. And then I'll be able to show you where you can make those edits here. But again, I'm going to give it a little bit of time here just to be able to bring that in.
I'll launch another quick poll while we're waiting for this, just to give us any feedback on there's a feature that you wish we had in Houzz Pro. We're always looking for new things to add here.
Yes, yes, always really exciting to get all the feedback. Okay, so now we have this converted over to a really clean document, which you'll be going documents in a little more detail into some of the other days and sessions here. But you can see is that it ultimately took a look at that 3D floor plan and some of those items that we had and created an estimate of like what that may look like when converting over to an estimate. So we can see that the doors, those openings, the flooring that was used, the paint that was used to be able to give you an idea on that. Going back though, there are a couple of things that ways that we can do this, as I mentioned. So I'm sorry, let me go ahead. So at the top, sorry, if we go to estimate here instead of convert to estimate, this is where you can actually choose like what you would like to have on the estimate before converting it over. So say you can see how it's broken down by like ceiling, flooring, walls. So when we clicked up top, it just moves like everything, all these items over automatically. But you do have an option if we go this route going to estimate to be able to choose what's going to be added or not. And we can just select from there. And then we can preview the estimate to make sure that that's everything that we want to have transferred over. And then we'd click create estimate and it would bring you to that same estimate or customized document. Okay. Up top, things you can do is create a new one. You can duplicate the floor plan. You can delete it, open up a new one that you have like existing. Print. We have a little tutorial here as well that you can select if you'd like to do this once you're getting back to this. And then going to our help center. You can also at the top right share this. And this is, again, going to go to that dashboard that we were just chatting about where the client can view some of these items. So we can add a name here. So we're just going to say kitchen. Oh, sorry, this is who it's going to add to. And then we can go ahead and send or add that link. But if we go back, this is showing that it's been published, but we can choose not to publish it or not, or grab that quick link. Okay, and then we could also, if we want to, we can save as a PDF, save to your files, or we can print it. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to head into one of the last major visual tools that we're going to talk about, which is the selections tracker. So this is going to be a really important tool when it comes to helping that client make those really specific selections in the different rooms and spaces. So if I go back, we're going to go, I'm hovering over the project name, and we're going to go into selection board. All right. So one great piece about the selections board, the selection tracker, sorry, is that you can take a look at all of your different room boards. So you can see I have a kitchen one that already created, but we can create one for, again, if you have a kitchen and a bathroom you're working on or a living room, you can create all different boards for that. I always recommend creating, if you're working on multiple rooms, I always recommend creating different boards for those rooms individually just to make it as clean for the client as possible. And then you can also use this tool to help track your budget. So at the top here, it's going to default to take a look at some of the, to take a look at what's existing here. But if you go to edit, so if we go to selection boards, this is just going to be based off of like what's already in the existing selections board. But you can also create like a budget for the project. So if we go to edit, I'm going to project budget. And then we're going to go ahead and adjust that. So I have it as like 250,000, but you can add in your own general project budget and click done. And then now it's going to show you with like what you have built out in your boards. It's going to show you like how far or to gauge where you're at in terms of like your overall budget for that particular client or project. Okay. We're going to go ahead and head into this one to show you what it looks like. And I'll show you how we can make some edits from here and how to create a new one. So I'm going to go into this kitchen one here. All right, and this is like where we're really going to kind of tie in everything. So at the top here, I've chose to bring in that mood board that that I was showing you at the very top of this session. So I went to the right-hand side to mood boards and we pulled those in. So that way, like right away, the client is reminded of like, okay, this is what we had envisioned for this space. You can also pull in the 3D floor plan to look at that layout and make sure that they understand, again, this is the layout of that space. And then down below, this is like kind of like where the magic happens with being able to really go into those true selections. So from here, we really wanted to make sure that we have different options for our client for cabinetry, for flooring. One great workflow is, as you're building this out, is you can go into that clipper and, clip all of the options for cabinetry that you would like and be able to, again, add them here really easily for the client to view. And again, you're already going to have like those images of like the product and things like that to make it a lot easier. So just showing how to bring in the items really quickly. On the top right-hand side, again, we're back at that My Item section that we've seen throughout the mood boards, seen throughout the 3D floor plan to be able to pull those in. So as mentioned, you used your clipper, you went through a couple of cabinetry options, and then all you have to do is just go ahead and you can either drag and drop. So like, of course, this isn't necessarily cabinetry, but just to be able to show. So I can go ahead and just drop an item into the space automatically. If you just click this plus sign, it's going to add like to somewhere random on the space, but you could always go through and again, drag and drop from different areas. So back and forth. Okay. So again, we can add those items in from the library. Again, the easiest way to do this is going to be again to drag and drop. We also have, again, that brand catalog, that Home Depot one that I referenced earlier, where you can add in items. This is where we're going to look at the floor plans to add in. So there's that kitchen that we were just working on that I could just click and add into the space. I'm going to go ahead and move that. And then we also can look at all the mood boards. So there's the kitchen mood board that we had from earlier. I again clicked on this to be able to add it to the space automatically. I'm just going to go ahead and delete this item really quickly. Okay, back to that same view. We can also add in other images. So we could pull in like even like those like photorealistic images we had, or any image that you have, or maybe it's your own set logo that you want to add in, you can do so as well and upload. And you can also add files here as well. So if you have certain files, you can use this file section to be able to add those to the space. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead and go back into this cabinetry space. As you can see, we have different sections, but we can also continue to add new sections down below. So it says create new section. And we can just go ahead and just keep adding new sections if we want to, again, really differentiate that. And then also going back, we can also add a description to the sections as well. So this could be something that's more like informational, of like a prompt of like, oh, like please review like the following and, and select as need be, or just adding a general overview of like this, like maybe you have two different cabinetry sections. You can see like, this is going to be tied to the mid-century, like the mid-century mock-up that we had, or the mid-century mood board. And you can have another one that says these are going to be the selections for the farmhouse style that we had. So being able to make sure that the client's really aware of what's going on here. What's really awesome about this tool is that it's a great collaboration tool as well, and a wonderful way that you can work with your team and your clients. So in this comment section, you can see here there's a client and a team option which you can toggle back and forth from. And this allows you to be able to chat with your clients, like from this space, if you've given them visibility to it. So we can add in, things like, hey, I know you mentioned you like this style, but I think this would be a really great piece, and then the client can go back and give their thoughts on it. This is also really great for the team as well. So say, for instance, like the team member wants to write in and says, hey, this is what the client selected specifically. They said they're also open to XYZ. So again, really great way to make sure we're keeping in communication and making sure we get the right items over to the clients. From here, I'm going to go ahead and go into an item here. So as I was showing earlier, you can do like a drag and drop in terms of like positioning to make it really easy. The item overview is going to show those main details. So really similar to when we were clipping that item, those details that had carried over. So we can see everything from the item overview, and we can still make adjustments from here. We can also view the product link. So this is going to link me if we did clip the item or add a link from the site. It's going to take us there directly. This will also be helpful for the client too when we're sharing the selection board with them, so they can if you'd like to give them access, they can click into those product links. Again, back to the comments, and then there's a few other things. You can change the size. So say we want this to be the focused item, we can change this to like a medium or back to small. Fit image to width. So this is like making sure there's no blank space on the end. We can add it to a different section. So say we actually don't want this to be in cabinetry. We want it to be in a different area. We can move that over from here. We can set cover image. So this is that first image that you're seeing on like the main selections area where it's showing all the boards. So we can set that from here. We could also hide the client too. So say, for instance, like we really want to use it mainly for like internal reference, but we don't want them to be able to see it when they're looking at the board. They can go ahead and do that. And then we can duplicate an item. We can also move an item to like just a new board in general. So if we had like a different room that was created, we can add that from here. And we can also remove from the board, and we can also just delete it from the project altogether. So lots of different things we can do there. We can also make some quick edits here to the title, and we can choose to include it in budget. And I'll show you where we can be a little more finite on that as well. So as you can see, this one has been already kind of reviewed, but what I want to kind of show you from these like approved statuses below is that when you're just creating this and this hasn't been shared to a client, it's going to show as approve or decline. And this is what's really great when we send this to our clients, is that they'll be able to view this and be able to do like approvals in real time. The nice thing as well is as they're going approving and declining, it's gonna they're gonna be able to view that budget, and it's gonna make sure that they're in check. It could also maybe open the conversation, maybe like adding a budget if like need be. But as maybe they're like, oh, I really want this, I want to approve this, but they're like, oh shoot, like I'm really close to my budget, so like maybe I have to, maybe I have to wait on an item. So that's what's really neat as well. Okay, I want to go through a couple more things here and just being mindful of time. So this is the board info, but I want to go ahead and go into this preview and share option. Okay, and I want to go to this viewing settings area here. So this is really neat because this is going to be able to allow you to customize what the client can see. So for pricing, we can choose to show the item pricing, which is typically it defaults here because usually they want them to see the pricing on it. We can also choose for them to show that budget. So this is like that budget tool here that I was mentioning, for them to be able to keep track of the budget. Maybe there's no real budget. We want them to keep approving. We can definitely hide that as needed. Item details, so showing the quantity, showing the descriptions that we have, but we can choose to not have that. We can also, by default, it doesn't show the product links because I know sometimes like there might be like an adjustment to the pricing. So we can choose to show those product links or not. Show the tracking, which I'll get to in a moment, and then approvals. So we can show for products. We may not want to show this if we have two different mood boards, that could be like an area where we want to show approval. So that way they can approve one and deny one. But if we just want that to be a visual tool, maybe we would just have that removed altogether. Same with floor plans, and then show like image and file. So again, different things that they would be able to view then. Okay, and then from here, we can either go back to selection board, or we can go ahead and share. If we want, we can remove it from client dashboard beforehand, or if we want to just remove from here, we can. We can download a tear sheet, or again, just go ahead and sharing with the client. So again, this will kind of give them an overview of what it's going to look like when they receive it, so they can scroll down and take a look at everything. All right. Okay. From here, Also a really neat thing, and tying back into, again, using this as like a tool to be able to help create documents, is that we can also use this selections board to be able to convert over to an estimate or invoice as well. So at the top right-hand side, we can click convert, and we can go convert to either estimate or invoice, and we can go ahead and choose what we want. So we can go ahead and select. So we most likely say we just want to invoice or create a proposal for the items that have been approved. We can go ahead and just click on those approved items, or select all and then click convert 5 items. So we can choose if we just want to do a few items at a time, we can do that. And again, it's going to create that estimate or invoice for you automatically with the pricing. What's left for you to do is just to kind of review this and make sure all the totals look correct. We can still, from this space, make edits. So even if you have like pricing there, we can always change that from this area before you send it out, and then we can get this sent to the client. So again, a really seamless way we can help saving time without having to go and now like create an estimate from that selections board. I also want to show something that's really awesome, which is our selections tracker. So we're going to go back into our selection space here. So there's selections tracker, or we can access this from our selection board. So at the top, you're going to see boards, which are in, and also tracker. Again, you can also access it by clicking selections tracker on the left-hand side. We're going to go ahead and click here. And this is going to be really great for now. So we're just taking a look at the boards and all those items listed out. Now this is going to help track all of those items and help you track all the details. It's also going to show you which have been tied to a document and show you the status of those documents. So as I went through within this project, I showed you how to convert some of those items to an estimate. So now we can see this has been selected. So it's ultimately like a live document. This is a live tracker just showing you like the updates like as this goes along. So you can see which ones here have been tied to an estimate, an invoice, or a purchase order. And you can also access that document here. So if I click, it's going to show a linked document that I can click into to be able to reference. So again, this is just showing us that that one that we recently created. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and head back here. It's also going to just show like the like which items are pending or have been like approved. Again, typically once they're just in the initial stage, like once this estimate is approved, it's now going to show this as like an approved item as we continue on. So as we can see here, it says pending. This item is in process. Please edit. So if I go back to that estimate, and actually I'm going to go ahead and just manually approve this just to show you the update. So now we're going to move this to like an approved status. Okay, and then we're going to go back to our tracker and update. And we're just going to let that load. And then now we can see that it's in an approved stage. So again, it's always going to be running like as like you have your documents being sent out, it's going to update the statuses. We can now see like even the estimate's been showing now to be approved instead of draft. And now all the associated items have been approved on here as well. So this is like really helpful, especially if you have like, if you want to take a look at all your materials and you're thinking about like, you know, creating those purchase orders, like what's been approved, like what do we still have pending, and be able to reference that really easily. Also other details that we can see here, again, is the room it's associated with. So like this one, we had associated kitchen, but we can still make those edits here and do those associations as well. The financials, so taking a look at all like the pricing tied to it. We can also take a look at any of like shipping financials, or like this will kind of go into play more so like once we've created a purchase order, which again, we'll dive into documents in some of the later sessions too. We can take a look at specification. So if we did import something with dimensions, it's going to show in the specification section here, along with the manufacturer of where we clip that item. Again, this order tracking piece will tie into, again, more purchase orders, like once we review that, but we can also make adjustments too. So if we want to do our own tracking on these items, we can also add them here. So, waiting for a quote, this has been ordered, something's been backlogged, the order date, things like that, which is going to be really helpful. We want to make sure we're tracking all of our items really seamlessly, especially when we're working with bigger projects here. We can also sort at the top. So we can sort like created like newest to oldest. We can add our own like custom fields. We can also like do it alphabetically. So that's going to change like the way we're seeing this. We can go ahead and organize. So we can organize by category room, order status, by vendors, by approval status. So again, maybe we want to just take a look and see like which things are still pending first. And then also just by like the document, like what has an estimate, what has an invoice or purchase order. And then other filters, so approval status. So again, really trying to make this as easy as like to how like you would like to view it by adding all these filters here and certain properties. So again, lots of really great things we can do here. We also have an option to like drag and drop from the left-hand side, viewing the information, deleting, and also like create a certain selection. So again, really, really great tool. And you can always go back and forth from like your board to your tracker up top. So that way we can, again, filter back. You can update your boards and then you can go back to your tracker to be able to view things back and forth. Other things that we can do on the right-hand side is just changing like the way we view it to like a more stacked, to like a more flat view. So really, really more like a simple item. This is just going to show more details. We also have a way to customize the views as well. So say for instance, like maybe there's like a few areas like we don't really need to see. It's more so just like extra space. And we really want to make sure we're only seeing those main things. We can just go ahead and toggle on and off. So that way we can really just see those main views. We can also add like new fields as well. So maybe we want to say like one's going to be looking for like warranty, and we want to be able to like check box like these items have a warranty versus like these items don't. We can also do that and have it updated to our fields here. So now we can see there's like a warranty item, but we can like drag it if we wanted to move it to like another space. Okay, so clicking save, and then now it's going to make those updates to that particular view. Okay, other things that we can do is we can export. So we can export as an Excel, as a PDF, or a tear sheet. So that way we can, again, see it like more seamlessly, or we can also use this like another method to share with our clients. Also things that you can view here from the tracker are like your items in your brand catalog. So say for instance, like you just want to add items that maybe weren't necessarily associated with those particular boards. Those ones will come on automatically, but maybe you wanted to bring in some other items to also track along with this project for its selections. You can also do that and just and click insert to add it. And then the same with the brand catalog. So that Home Depot catalog, having that will also be able to add in some items as well. So again, just a great tool to use to be able to make sure that you are staying on track with your project and tracking all of your items efficiently. We also have like an all selections tracker too. So that way it's going to ultimately bring in all everything from like across like all my projects if I'd like. And I can just start by creating, adding and like choosing which projects I want to add in. So lots of different things that we can do there. I do want to, again, just for timing, I want to make sure that we have a chance to take a look and check out that dashboard as well and show you where to access it. So I'm going into that project that we were just in, and we're going to go to Client Dashboard. And this is, again, the space that the client's going to be able to view. So you'll ultimately be able to send your client a link to their own dashboard. So that way they can see all these things in one spot versus like having to go and look through like their emails or like links that you've sent them. So they'll be able to view anything that's been shared and that you've still given them access to here. So if we scroll down, we can see that selection board. They'll be able to see the mood board and the 3D floor plan and be able to click into it. Again, you can choose or like toggle off if you want them to have access to this at any given time. But again, really great way for them to make sure that your client's on track, they're in the know, they know where to access everything that you've shared with them. We'll be able to, of course, dive into to this too in like another session, but they'll also be able to view all their financials from here. So like those estimates that have been shared with them, invoices, if there's any contracts, they can view all the messages that you've had with them throughout like your time working with them. Any tasks that they have, schedules, files, and photos that you've shared with them as well. So again, a lot of great things that they can be able to access. So here, again, are those like photorealistic images that we were taking a look at earlier, and then along with the other files too. So again, really, really great way. At the top here, you can click share. So that way you can share it directly with them or copy the link. And you can also preview it as well. So if you want to make sure that you are seeing what they're seeing before you send it to them, you can also do that from here as well. And you can also choose from like the desktop or like mobile view of like how it may be seen from the client. So again, keeping you in the know. That's a big theme at Houzz is we have a lot of preview options and a lot of ways to like choose like what the client can and cannot see. Because I know that's of course like really, really important. But again, just to kind of give a little bit of an overview, kind of starting with that clipper with like sourcing our items, wanted to show in mood boards how you can create that vision for your clients and also bring in those items easily. We went into a little bit about 3D floor plans, about creating those spaces and being able to show them like the different views and the walkthroughs to create that more immersive experience, and also being able to use that 2D to 3D convert option. And then going into your selections tracker. So being able to now have like a more hands-on and collaborative approach to working with your clients, not having to be in person to show them materials there, being able to give them everything and have them accept or deny and make sure that everything's within budget. And then being able to make sure they can access all these things in one space with that client dashboard. Great. Any other questions you want to go through?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kristen. This was great. I've done my best to cover a lot of the questions. I know we're just a few minutes over, but let me see if there are any. I thought this was a good question. I didn't know the answer to actually. If you send a link to a 3D floor plan to a client, are they able to toggle back and forth between the different views?
Yeah, let me, if I have a moment, I could go through it really quickly. Okay, let me go ahead and just go into that project here. But the answer is yes, is that they can toggle. Again, I know we're going a little over. I want to make sure I can get there quickly. There's like a little bit of a lag on my end, so I apologize.
No problem.
Okay. And then we're going to go to 3D floor plans. And we're going to go, I'm going to click into the floor plan, and then we're going to go into that copy link option. So I'm going to go to floor plans. And once that loads, we're going to go ahead and go to share. Another thing that I didn't touch on too, but we do have is this like comment section too. So like if you wanted to give like a comment to your client and then like send it to them, they can also view like those comments on those sections too. So you can kind of pin where you add the comments. But I'm going to go ahead and go to share. I'm going to go ahead and copy link, and I'm just going to open it here on a new, I'm going to go ahead and just paste what this looks like. So then when it loads, yes, they'll be able to see the floor plan, the dollhouse, and the walkthrough, and be able to zoom and then go between like the levels. So yeah, so that way they have that same experience with looking at it.
Great. Thank you everyone so much for joining. We know you have a lot going on in your lives, so hopefully this was a worthwhile use of a few hours here. We have one more poll that I'm launching. We would love to know what else would make these academies more useful for you, as well as which features you learn the most about. So we have 2 more days of this. Hopefully you're signed up for Wednesday and Thursday sessions, but we will be sending out the recordings. So thanks a lot, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye, everyone.